Yeah, hello. Right. We have an almost full house of core devs today. It's very exciting. Fly to the States next week. That'd be awesome.
Are you flying there early?
I am in Boulder from Wednesday to
Oh, that's right. That's
Saturday.
right. That's right. Good luck with that. Looking forward to hearing how that goes the week after when we actually see each other.
Yeah, we'll actually meet each other for the first time in many a year.
That's right. Very excited. I'm very excited.
Indeed, it's incredibly awesome. When do you fly in?
Sunday. I'm basically flying Sunday and then leaving on Friday evening, late Friday evening. So I'll be there Sunday afternoon, I think. Yeah, because I'm flying Sunday morning, so I'll have Sunday afternoon available as well.
Cool. We shall meet up on Sunday.
Sure.
Okay. We should probably start with uni down. There are some things that need fixing, but we are closer than we were. I tried to fix up the documentation changes that I made, but I keep running into annoying Sphinx warnings that I need to kill. Have you done anything else, Jack?
Yeah, what PR is that?
1676.
1676.
Although I was going to change it around so that it wasn't as big. Like, this patch is way too large. I was going to make it just the docs. But I haven't been able to get a Sphinx build to run through without spewing. So hot. Should point out. I was using it as distraction over the weekend because I finally finished my thesis and sent off the corrections now, so it's actually done.
So this is tests and docs, right?
This is, yeah, a few fiddles, but I was gonna. I can't remember what I even did. Yeah, this was me fiddling with the tests, but we've since removed most of those files, I think. Oh wait, no, that file's useful. I should keep that one. Okay, I'll put that into a different PR. Let me put that into a different PR. Test unified download.
So we have search and fetch for Fido, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And then we use query and get for VSO.
Yeah. I think there was a decision taken a while ago that search and fetch were better.
Yes, I'm just concerned that there's, if like using different verbs for essentially the same thing. I guess that's maybe okay. You can make the argument that Fido is different from VSO, so you can use different.
But I think if we should have a reason for them not to be consistent, as opposed to doing the other way around, just leaving them inconsistent.
Yeah.
So the default should be we make them consistent. Because search is search. Query, calling it search and query is not really. No reason to have that difference, I think. Means the same thing.
I'm not entirely convinced that you weren't one of the people suggesting changing it. But it was so long ago I can't remember. So.
You know what? We can go back to the videos and find out.
That's right.
You can get the second person to look at these damn videos. I mean informative videos.
Maybe the third. I watched the other day one of those. See how pessimist Stuart was.
Oh yeah, before Google Summer of Code announcement. That was last week, wasn't it? Yeah, we got in. Way! I feel as though I need to karmically balance this from my horrific round of pessimism at the start of last week's meeting.
So how does this work, by the way? So first, congratulations to all of us. Second of all, so now we're part of, was it Python and Astronomy group?
Open Astronomy.
Open Astronomy. So does that mean we need to get onto, what's that thing called?
NumFocus.
NumFocus. We have to get that.
Would be helpful.
Okay.
It's not required because we could pipe the money into AstroPy or something.
And then they will like.
Or something.
Right. But for us to get any money, that
we need somewhere to put it.
We need to. Yes. Okay. So we need to. We should organize. Well, I will organize a board meeting sometime very soon so that we can deal with that.
We need to contact NumFocus.
Yeah. It seemed like we were. Yeah. That was something you were going to do. Is that right?
Probably.
Okay.
I'll add it to my to-do list.
And I will write an email saying that we should get this fixed because now we actually have money coming.
Of course, the big unknown at the moment is how many students we get as an org.
Do you know how much
for a new organisation is 2? We're hoping that, seeing how we're an umbrella org and we have some experience of doing it before, that we get slightly more than 2.
So that would be 1 for us and 1 for AstroPy, or 2 just for us.
We are 5.
2. That would be 2 for everybody.
Get more people, more organizations. So it's AstroPy, KentiPy, Julia.
Well, they haven't got any ideas yet.
SunPy, and there is 2 other projects that the 2 other organization that has say they would like to.
Okay.
I would like to get 1 per org. That would be nice, as a minimum. But we will allow our we'll have to await judgment from our googly overlords.
When does that happen?
Remember? After student applications close, because we do student applications close, we choose the students we want, and then we ask Google, and then they give us slots. That's how it works, isn't it, David?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
So we provide a number of students that we want, and then Google decides how many they give us. So.
And how much, how much money do we get per student? What happens to that money? What can it be spent on?
So at the moment we haven't decided. The Python Server Foundation was asking us to, the condition was that we were giving the money that we will get as a mentor, which it was around $500.
It's 500 US, yeah.
I don't know whether it has changed or not this year, but
No,
that was
still 500 US.
Yeah, okay. And then the Python Server Foundation was using that money to help people to go to conferences and stuff.
Yeah, we had some of it back for PyAstro last year.
Yeah, what we're gonna do as a open astronomy organization is something that we have to decide.
Yeah, we Open Astronomy get the money, and then we have to
whether we
do it
just
after that.
do the different organizations as they get it, or we also put it as a pot to distribute it between the different projects like conference, like Python Astronomy and stuff. I think that looks attractive to me, to have a common pot for Open Astronomy, but we have to discuss that.
It would be especially useful, especially if Open Astronomy becomes a proxy organization for Python and astronomy as well, which was my idea, but no, it didn't pan out this year.
The other thing regarding money and the spending of money that we should figure out is how right now, the board may want to have a say about how we manage money. I mean, the easiest and most direct way is that the ED handles the money.
Well,
with,
sure. Well, I mean, that particular decision is happening a level above SunPy, right?
right. But once money shows up in SunPy's pocket,
yes, then we need to have a think about what we do with that. Yes. Indeed.
Yeah. Right. Because spending it all on beer, that might be nice, but stickers are cool too.
Talking of stickers, I bought 50 more. I've got them for Python in astronomy. So.
Oh, awesome. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I should get some too.
And to the people of the world there.
You can have some of mine when we get there if you want, Steve.
Hey, we can never have too many stickers.
It's true. By the way, I ordered a load of, last year I ordered some circle ones, which were just the SunPy logo and were circles, and I have been only giving those out to people with commits.
I see. They're like badges.
They're like badges. So I quite like that idea. That's a thing. I still have a few of those, but I haven't ordered any more.
Okay.
Where? Yeah. Well, hang on.
What are the? Sorry. When do the students have to decide? And is there still the possibility of looking over the projects that we have listed up, or is it too late?
Yes, we can still provide the projects, project ideas. Student applications don't close for another few weeks, 20th or something. Is that right?
The students have from the 17th to 25, a bit more than the. No, from the So they have like 10 days to apply. So
student application deadline is the 25th of March.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then the 22nd of April, accepted students get announced. So in that month's window, we have to do interviews and then ask Google for slots, accept students.
Yeah, and that will be like at least, well, it will be somewhere there, but it will be at least more than a week in advance than the students announced, because we have to do then the deduplication and stuff.
Yeah.
Okay.
I will send dates to the mailing list as we move forward.
So in that vein, there were two things I thought would be good to add. It'd be good to have a student to fix the whatchamacallit, the gallery. I've had some people mention that it's lame.
Yeah, and that's actually not a bad idea.
That is
a good idea.
Not.
Can't hear you, Pete.
So it could be a general thing about like fixing the docs, fixing the gallery, and then maybe I don't know if there's any website things we may want as well.
Yeah, one of the ideas that I had that I didn't actually write up was to get someone to write a Sphinx theme.
Oh yeah.
On the topic of galleries, this is currently broken. But do you remember a while ago I told you about that Sphinx plugin for gallery generation, where you write Python scripts? Yeah, scikit-learn and scikit-image and various other things. You write Python scripts with narrative in between them, and it compiles them out to a website, and it will run plots and capture plots and put images in line and stuff. Alex and I have been using it for the magnetic field extrapolation project he was working on last summer.
Yeah.
We're trying to do crazy things with it for that, because it's running 3D plots and Maya VI and doing all manner of crazy stuff that Read the Docs doesn't like, which is why that build's a bit broken. But they've recently added a export to IPython notebook format button. So while you don't write it in as a notebook, you can download it as an IPython notebook. So it converts the .py script into a notebook for you.
So, Stuart, did you say scikit-learn and scikit-image are the examples of this?
Scikit-learn is definitely an example of this.
I go to those websites fairly often.
Let me find the examples gallery. Here we are.
Yeah,
This is the
nice.
this is the scikit-learn gallery that is built using this software.
Yep. Yep, that's exactly, yep. Yeah, that is great because you can, it's just exactly what you're looking for, the code and the...
Yeah, and then you can download that as either, oh, they don't appear to have it turned on, but you can download it as either a Python file or a IPython notebook file for the more, like, fancy ones, I think you can have as notebooks.
Yeah, that's cool.
I found those incredibly useful.
And the advantage with that is it would be in the main SunPy repository.
Mm-hmm.
The disadvantage to that was it would make our documentation build take even fecking longer.
Doesn't that create a problem because it times out eventually, right?
Why does it need to be
Read the
part of
docs
the
does
repository?
time out eventually. Travis does not time out eventually.
But why does it need to be part of the main repository?
Well, it would be advantageous if it could be part of the main repository.
I think we're going to run into, because I recently on another project added, like I wanted lots of plots in the documentation, and I could never get it to finish because it would just time out, and so I couldn't generate all those plots. So
Yeah.
there's a limited amount of processing time you have available essentially before it times out.
Oh, I think on Travis that number is very, very high. I think as long as you're printing stuff to the terminal, it doesn't kill you off.
But does that
You
mean
run for like an hour or something.
Can Travis build our docs though?
Theoretically,
Yes.
we could make Travis upload it to S3 or somewhere afterwards. But Read the Docs does have a timeout, a hard timeout. I think it's 900 seconds. Read the Docs timeout, whatever that is in real money. 15 minutes. 15 minutes.
Yeah, I imagine we'll run into, if we have anything complicated in there, especially if there are examples like go off and do searches or anything, then we're gonna run into issues very quickly.
Yeah, well, with that gallery example, you only need, it won't execute the code unless you can write examples which don't execute.
But it's got to generate the...
Obviously, if you don't execute the code, you don't have output. Yes, obviously, but you could write complex examples which sit in the gallery and are fully described but don't have the output in, if you wanted to do that. But frankly, we're going to run into that build problem if the gallery is separate from SunPy to an extent. Obviously, slightly afterwards, because as it is at the moment, the SunPy docs takes 5 minutes to build or something.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we could put it in a separate repo and it would be fine, but then we've got different maintenance issues. Whereas if it's in the main SunPy repo, the gallery would get built for every commit, like our documentation does at the moment. So it would never get out of date. It would always break at the right time, and it would be much easier to maintain. The punishment would be having to not write examples that take 10 minutes to run.
Yeah. Well,
So
I mean, the question
maybe
is
doing things which only use small data, or try not to do things that go out to the internet and get data.
Yeah. I mean, we're going to run into limitations on read the docs eventually, right? As people added this is not a new problem. As people would add more and more plots, eventually we would time out throughout the documentation.
Well, that's why a while ago I went through the docs and toned down a lot of the plotting. And I removed a lot of the plotting that required an internet connection because I got annoyed with it breaking.
Is there something else besides read the docs that we could use that does something similar but provides more capability?
So it is theoretically possible to build documentation somewhere that's not read the docs, but upload it to read the docs.
No.
You can upload to the read the docs hosting, having built it somewhere else.
No.
So with enough motivation, we could look into doing that. But I don't like spending dev time doing the infrastructure stuff.
This is a bit of a tangential question to this discussion, but why does it take so long to make plots?
Well, the actual plots don't take that long, although we were doing a Lyra level 2 plot, which involved building a light curve, well, downloading the data, creating the light curve, and creating the plot for like 200 megs of data. That was taking a while. So I changed that so it wasn't doing that anymore.
Okay, downloading is one thing, but are there any like non-downloading things that are just obscenely long?
Not obscenely long. There are generating a few of the light curve plots where it's really high cadence data takes a little while, but it's not like prohibitively long.
Well,
But yeah, I went through and made all the light curve plots run off sample data as opposed to downloading their own data in an attempt to speed up the doc build.
Yeah, I mean, anything that gets bad, we can always just add a file to the sample data, right? Well, yeah, make it smaller file.
Yeah, that's kind of what I did.
Yeah. Okay. I mean,
I think actually what I did I think the way I worked around the Lyra level 2 plot taking a long time to create was make it a Lyra level 3 plot in the documentation as opposed to a level 2 plot, which is much lower cadence and therefore was much quicker to munge. Anyway,
okay.
I do like the idea of a summer student to do documentation improvements, write a gallery, maybe a theme. If you want to write up that as an idea, that would be cool.
I'm doing it now.
Woo! It needs to go in our wiki and also as a PR to openastronomy.github.io.
Okay. By the way, what's this weird header on these files now?
What files?
The wiki file has this weird header, which is not.
That header is for the website in the.
Oh, I see. Okay. Well, it doesn't really render, right?
It does.
Yeah, but it does just mean you can copy the file from one place to the other.
Okay, I see.
Too many things on my to-do list already, David. I've only been running this for like 2 days at this point. I don't like having a list of actual things I have to do. Yeah, uni down. If anyone has any magical free time, uni down. Also, review my coordinates PR, please.
By the way, I ran into this weird issue, which I think maybe the coordinates PR fixes, but where depending on how I was plotting, sometimes it would be expecting pixel coordinates, and sometimes it would be expecting physical coordinates.
Elaborate.
I can provide an example.
That's probably to do with whether you're got a WCS axis or not. No, even WCS axis defaults to pixel as well. Yeah, yes, that's it. If you've got a WCS axis plot it will default to pixel coordinates. If you've got a non-WCS axis plot, it will default to arc seconds. Because we set the IM show extent to be in arc seconds, whereas WCS axis keeps the plot in pixels, but then does a load of transformations on top of it.
Okay, well, the issue I ran into, I think, and this sounds right, is that it wasn't clear what was happening in the background. So sometimes, in one scenario, I would get back a WCS axis. In another scenario, I wouldn't be. And so they would behave differently.
Yeah, I guess that's if you create the axes yourself.
Yes, that was the problem, right?
Yeah.
So from a user's perspective, that's dumbfounding.
I think I added. Sure, I added this to the docs. I
also heard from somebody saying that from an absolute new beginner. They quickly ran into an issue that we say Anaconda, but you go to the Anaconda website and they're like, 2.7 versus 3.4. Which one should I be downloading?
We just need to support Python 3 already.
Yeah, but we don't. So and we should. Our documentation does not say anything, and so from a user's perspective, they're like, "What? What do I do now?"
That's true. Actually, we should probably modify the install docs to highlight the fact that you need to install Anaconda version with Python 2.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
Or in
spawn an issue. Yeah, there is this section in the documentation regarding creating axes with WCS axes. Sorry, David, I was talking over W. What did you say?
Or just saying that the environment is created with Python 3.7. Because the Anaconda is the same. It doesn't matter which one you use.
Yeah, but our installation instructions don't tell people to create an environment. They just install SunPy into Anaconda.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you create an environment and install SunPy, it will automatically download 2.7 because it's the only supported version. But
yeah, but if you download the Anaconda 3 installer, then you just download 300 megabytes for no good reason.
It's true story.
Well, it's not so much whether it ends up working. It's about the fact that we want to make the installation process as easy for a new user as possible.
And as easy to understand. Yeah, definitely. It needs to be modified. Hey, Kevin. Yeah, Steve. Did you see the docs?
Hold on. Well, I mean, yeah, it's good that we have them in the docs, but I still maintain that. I
agree.
It's very weird.
I agree that it's suboptimal, but at the same time, there's not really any way around it. Like, if you manually create an axes object, then unless you tell it to be WCS axes, it's not going to be WCS axes. But defaulting to it is a great idea because it dramatically improves the quality and features of the plot. Like, I don't see an easy way out of this other than document it better.
Can you issue a warning or something when you use the map.plot? It checks whether it's a WCS axis, and if it's not, then it issues a warning.
That's not a bad idea. If WCS axis is installed and it's using an axes object that isn't WCS axis, spawn an error.
Yeah, or just a warning, just so that they know. Not an error.
No, not an error.
Because people should be able to proceed.
But obviously. Sorry. I misspoke. I will create an issue for that. Issue. No package novice.
So I think I'm only going to have, I'm adding some tasks here, but I won't have time to really fill them out. So I'm kind of put them in as placeholder tasks that need to be filled out a little bit more. I may have more time, but just so you know.
If you write them up, send out a note to the list or something, so maybe someone can pick them up. How's it going, Kevin?
It's going well, thanks.
Hey, Kevin.
Found the link. I was watching the live stream before.
Good to have you in person and not in stalker mode. Yeah, we should. Finding a link is not super easy.
The problem is that Google Hangouts has changed their UI recently, in that I can no longer invite a circle to the Hangout to give people direct invitations.
Mm-hmm.
And
so the only alternative is me to have a list of email addresses that I manually type into the Google invite link when I create the Hangout.
You could, so now Google Hangouts no longer requires you to have Google Plus accounts. So you can actually just send anyone the link and anyone can join.
Sure, well, I mean, that's what we're doing at the moment, right? We just put the link in IRC and that's the join method.
It might be better to email it to the dev list or something.
I could ping it out to the dev list if people think that would be better.
Yeah, because IRC, if you're not there when it's posted, then you don't see it, right? Unless you
check
go.
the logs. That's what I always do. Check the logs.
Oh my God! As if that was easy and not a big
It's the
thing.
link right at the.
If I can find it in the IRC logs.
The log bot is well behaved. It stays there. It logs things.
I don't even know where that is. Where?
There's a link at the top of the IRC channel. It's like sunpy.codere.com/IRC-logs, I think.
Oh, you're right. Okay. Oh, yes. Okay. I consider myself corrected, but I still think
if people think it would be a good idea to send it out to the mailing list, I don't mind. I just don't particularly want to spam everyone every week.
No, but spamming is good. It might get more participation in a dev call.
I would also like to look at alternative technology other than Google Hangouts, but I'm yet to find one which is suitably reliable. Anyone got anything else they want to talk about? Silence.
So where are we with Fido and stuff? Like, how far away is it?
So there are a couple of bugs that need squashing. One with the JSON client that I found in the middle of the sprint, which I must have messed up because it doesn't do it on master, but it does it on Unidown. So I've broken something, so I need to back that one out. What else is there? There is a Unidown label, which is linked out of the thing. Oh yeah, we need to do the open-closed interval stuff for time. And then it's all of the sources need tests through the Fido interface, which I think we have a keen Google Summer of Code applicants looking at, but if other people can get onto that as well. But the big thing it needs is documentation. The entire net documentation needs rewriting. There's a lot of docs that need doing.
Well, that could be something else that's added to that task, the docs task.
Well, we really want to get Unidown in, like, before GSOC, if possible, or at least damn close. I would be happy to merge Unidown into master with only like code reference documentation, and we could do the narrative guide documentation afterwards. Because Unidown doesn't actually break anything as it currently stands. It adds a whole bunch more functionality, but it doesn't actually break anything because it's not removing any code from Lightcurve, and VSO and JSOC and everything still work independently of Unidown.
Stuart, do you imagine the main, what happens to VSO and JSOC documentation? There's everything. Fido is number 1, I guess, promoted to number 1.
Yes.
And then everything else is underneath that.
Yeah, we should keep the individual documentation for VSO and JSOC. We should probably put a warning box at the top of those documentations saying that the primary way of using this is through Fido. But I mean, I think my opinion would be we need to make the JSOC and VSO clients less visible than Fido, because Fido is the canonical way to use them, right? Anyone?
Okay, well, if that's what you want.
Well, I mean, does that make sense? Because the code for VSO and JSOC still exists,
Yeah.
so it should still be documented, but we don't want to present the users with a million ways of doing one thing.
Yeah, that's for sure. Yeah, I really feel like, I hope, and feel like we should be a little bit more careful with the Google Summer of Code tasks, because we've both with Unidown and some other things, we're only working on getting them kind of incorporated now.
Yeah, I know. Both Unidown and coordinates were too big.
Yeah, they were too big. And there's a lot of outstanding tasks that need to be done, which are just sort of like fixing things, making things more coherent, making things more simple, and updating docs.
A lot of the things were, especially with Unidown, were like architectural decisions that were kind of punted during the project, and we've made since. I mean,
right.
the thing with Unidown is that it was huge, but it was also needed, right? We were going to have to do it at some point, and but I do agree we should try and not repeat this exercise.
Yeah, that's right. And right now, I mean, it looks like we might be, right? Because we're asking for more features. I mean, maybe not. It's a little bit better because there's one refactor, there's one improvement. That's good. But then real-time data access and visualization tools. I mean, that's a whole new feature. AI response. That might be able to be kept small and integrable, but it does bring in some very big questions that we need to solve.
Sure. The thing with that is that could wind up being a separate package if needs be.
Sure.
We don't have to bring that one into core if we don't need to.
Yeah.
I think the reason Unidown was so huge was because it was a fundamental change to one of the core pieces of SunPy, right? The net submodule is the biggest one we've got. It's also the most complicated one we've got. And it's one of the ones that's used the most. Like, it's a fundamental piece of what makes SunPy actually good. And we jumped in with both feet and started slashing around,
Yeah. I just feel like if we may want to consider a different sort of process going forward, whereby each release our release schedule is more like one big feature added. Next one is just a refactor. Next release is just a refactor and cleaning up. And then next one, again, kind of a feature. And then again, refactor, clean up. Right?
Yeah, I mean, well, the way we work, I kind of like the 0.7 idea, right? Which is like we're getting these things done and then releasing, and we can apply the same logic to clean up. If something needs refactoring or tidying up, then the to-do list for that release can be tidy this, improve X. It doesn't have to be add new thing.
Yeah, not every time. Yeah,
yeah. A feature freeze is not a bad idea, and then just concentrate on making things work. Because
the reason that is not necessarily so great is that if someone rocks up with a bunch of code, which is a feature that is good enough, like this is the way that we get contributions like that sometimes, right? Is someone rocking up and going, "I wrote this thing, have it." We don't want to turn that down because we're not at that point in our release cycle. So I agree that maybe we should focus core dev effort elsewhere, but we need to be careful the way that we say what we're doing, right?
Yeah. Well, we could. Well, yes. But I do think like SunPy is bordering on having some of the same issues that GASP SSW has, right? Which is like, let's just put everything in, and then well, we might figure it out later how to get it together. Like it's complicated. SunPy has gotten complicated enough, and there's enough there that now we're starting to see things that are not consistent, right? Like what we were just mentioning before. Jack was saying before about searching on the .NET. VSO search uses a different query structure than Fido, which is just a little weird.
Quickly going off on a tangent, what do we want to do about that?
So we fix it. Consistency.
Do we want to add wrappers to VSO and JSOC and HK and all the others that are search and fetch, which are basically just dumb wrappers to query and get, or do we want to just change Fido back?
Why cannot just instead of wrappers we just say put search and get?
Well, because we don't want to break everybody's code. We could rename the existing functions and then add wrappers for backwards compatibility for a release or two.
I would not worry about breaking other people's code. I mean, that's the difference between like Apple and Microsoft. Microsoft is stuck trying not to break anybody's code, and it just becomes a huge deep mess. 5 or 10 years down the line.
I'm not saying we don't break everyone's code permanently, but it is nice to give people some warning.
Yeah, deprecation warning for a release or two or something like that.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. Yeah,
that's all I mean. I didn't mean like perpetually.
I would prefer to change everything to the same thing and then have wrappers to maintain old.
Yeah, that's what I mean. What do we want? All right. So do we want to do that so that it's fetch and search? Are these better verbs, or do we just ignore this whole problem by going back to query and get, which are also perfectly valid verbs?
I don't really mind too much either way. I just want it to be consistent. I think that's the most important.
One is a darn sight more work than the other.
If it's query, well, query and get is fine, right? I mean, that's the least breaking.
Fetch is like in GitHub. Fetch is like in Git.
Yeah, I think we went with fetch because of the whole dog analogy, right? Fido fetch, which we thought was very cute at the time.
Search is also it's more appropriate for Fido than VSO, right? Because you can query multiple clients with Fido. VSO goes to VSO.
It's true, but I don't think it matters too much.
No, that's not something that users need to worry about necessarily.
All right. Someone spawn an issue for swapping it back in uni down.
Is this a democracy? I like search and fetch.
All right.
Okay, well,
Votes.
we'll spawn the issue and then we'll assign it to Albert.
Yeah, that's the solution.
All right. Spawn an issue and use that for the exercise of democracy.
Okay.
I really couldn't give a shit.
Sometime.
They do the same damn thing.
We're almost done.
Like, I don't care. I don't mind changing it all. That's what, well, I say I don't mind changing it all. I don't mind if someone else changes it all. In guess while we're on the topic of, or while we're getting back to the topic of very large GSOC pull requests, I finished coordinates while Steve and Albert have been on hiatus. So it's pull request 1210. Feel free to review it. Like, please review it, or else it'll sit there forever. I do need to make some changes. There are some comments on it that I haven't made yet, but they're relatively minor.
Well, first of all, that's awesome.
Hmm?
That's awesome that you were able to finish it out.
There is, yeah, one other thing that needs doing on it, but frankly, I might pull that if it gets to the point. I added a helioprojective radial frame, and I haven't finished testing it yet, so I might just remove that. Get this, so we can get this.
Oops. Okay, I created an issue called make net module. Oops. Make net module
Bonfire.
consistent. All right. Make a new issue.
We'll label this.
Yeah, sorry, I forgot the legal.
I don't like the fact that the amount of things labelled as Unidown is just getting bigger. It's supposed to be getting smaller. Any more for any more.
No, I don't have anything.
David, did you just send me a link?
Yes, I did.
On what one of the 20 bazillion messaging services did you use to do this? Oh yes, so you did. I got the notification on my phone and then I like dismissed it out of hand and then I couldn't find it again. It's just like, which one? Too many. Oh yes, obviously that reminds me. After my email the other day, I'd like to remind people that IRC is an excellent way to talk to one another, especially bearing in mind that we are being inundated with potential Google Summer of Code students that like to have people to talk to on there. If anyone wishes for an account on my IRC bouncer so they can maintain a persistent connection to IRC and have traceback when they log in, email me. I'm a benevolent host of IRC bouncers for people. I only restart it occasionally when I'm angry. Otherwise, the Kiwi IRC web interface is quite nice.
All right. Sorry, I gotta go.
Use IRC more.
Yes, I agree. Stuart, could we? I'll send an email. We should chat about presentations at the meeting.
Yeah, sure. Send us the link.
Yep.
Oh, send us. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Talk to you guys later.
See you later.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Any more for any? Or is it dinner time? Yeah, it's dinner time.
Later, guys.